Welcome to Teams Tuesday, a podcast about mastering the best about what other people have already figured out. Teams Tuesday focuses on insights and lessons that never expire. You will walk away from every episode with actionable insights that help you get better results and be more productive.
This was about as bizarre and easy as it gets.
The client just couldn't make up their mind.
I feel like we had top.
Went from a project of 20 weeks to just 2.
The DevOps was a cultural shift.
This is Teams Tuesday with your host, Peter Ward.
Welcome to Teams Tuesday. I'm the host, Peter Ward. We've got a great speaker talking about public pages. So firstly, welcome to Teams Tuesday. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Peter, here. I look forward to sharing the knowledge that I've gained over the years, and I'm glad to be here. My Tuesday has been a typical Tuesday. As I've said, I'm going through production stuff, and it's as good as it can be.
Okay. Now, today's session had quite a bit of interest. It's about building external facing websites with Power Pages. Now, this is sort of like almost like a full circle of the whole SharePoint world, where in 2003, they had SharePoint, which was internal, and content server. And then 2007 or 2010, they had everything as a basically public facing website. And then Microsoft backed off with the public facing part of SharePoint and M365, and looks like they're going back into this space.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. As you rightly stated, Microsoft was kind of promoting public-facing sites in SharePoint 2007, 2010, and 2013 platforms. I think in 2013, they took it down. SharePoint 2010, as the platform evolved, SharePoint 2010 was where Microsoft founded its footing, like solid footing in the space. And that's where the platform kind of grown and evolved into the community, and there was perception of this new content platform gaining traction, and a lot of like developers in the community were getting attracted to the platform and whatnot. And at some point, Ferrari website was built on top of SharePoint 2010. So it was highly customizable. Of course, you have to put in the effort to make it not look like SharePoint, but that was there in 2010. In 2013, Microsoft backtracked that feature. You could no more build the public-facing sites based on SharePoint. And then slowly now they're getting back into the groove of that space. And they took it over from Power Apps Portals. So Power Apps Portals used to be part of Dynamic. And then they changed the naming to, initially it was called CRM Portals. And then Microsoft changed the naming to Power Apps Portals. And now it's called Power Pages, and they made it a part of Power Platform.
So are we sort of like competing here, like not with, say, not so much a WordPress site here, but we're like more of a site core page, more sophisticated websites here?
So there are two different, there are apples and oranges, right? They're not an equal comparison, but I would say Microsoft is focusing on the low-code platform to easily build a website, to let the creators build the websites easily. Sitecore is a bit more like, I think it has like a leeway, and they started early in that space. And it's a true content management system, Sitecore. You can schedule the content publishing, and you can like build things from scratch and all that. Whereas Power Pages it's an out-of-the-box platform using which you can build a website easily, regardless of your background, whether you're like a pro developer or like a citizen developer. You can leverage this platform to develop the website quickly. Versus, I mean, there are some features that are missing, as I've said, schedule content push, and maybe better integration with CI/CD, which is coming along nicely in the platform in Power Pages. But it's slowly getting there. But Sitecore has a bit more kind of flexibility, and it's known for the website developers.
Yes. So Sitecore has obviously been in the space for like, I don't know, 20 odd years, whatever. And like, but the other thing as well, let's just talk about the user journey. If you look at like products like HubSpot, you've got landing pages, website in HubSpot, and those users end up becoming customers. And they end up basically becoming prospects, and then they become customers. So you've got like a full life cycle from a site visitor, a prospect, customer, a part, and then part of the project. Are we
Yeah.
kind of like is this the sort of like the methodology here where it's the entire life cycle of a customer coming into an organization?
Yeah, so good point. The beauty of Power Pages is it's flexible. You can design the way you want it to, and you can make it as simple as you want it and as complex as it needs to be. So for example, if your website is just like landing page and maybe a couple of pages publishing the information out to the users, just go ahead and build the basic pages and just let that information accessible, publicly available to the users. So let it be that if that's your business case. But if you want to, let's say, surface or build the data-driven website. So if you want to develop a website that's driven by the data and you want to control on which user sees what data. So you can have some authenticated pages with a combination of anonymous pages. So you can have a landing page which is anonymous, which could be open to public, and you can have some authenticated pages with some of the tables or data exposed, and you can interact with the data. You can have the business process kicked off and certain actions take place on the website. For example, let's say someone submitted feedback on the website, then you want to kick off a Power Automate flow in the backend. You can do that. And let's say you want to only expose some of the data that's stored in Dataverse pages where users need to authenticate first to see that data. So you can build that complex logic, and you can also have a combination of anonymous and authenticated pages view, and you can control the permissions. You can build the pages like role-based access and whatnot. So it depends on the use case, what you want to achieve.
Okay. All right. So you're going to show us a rather cool demo of Power Pages. What are the sizzle moments of the Power Pages here?
Yeah, so I'll show you the intuitive user interface of the Power Pages, and I'll show you how to edit the pages and quickly create new pages and whatnot. And first, I'll go through like a couple of slides explaining what Power Pages is, and then we'll dive into the demo if that's okay with you.
All right, sounds great. All right, go for it.
Perfect. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let me know when you can see it. So as you know, Microsoft Power Platform is a low-code platform that spans across M365. Microsoft has been investing heavily in this platform to encourage the citizen developers and pro developers to get involved in the platform and build the applications as needed. So there used to be four main pillars in the Power Platform. Power BI, which is used to build the intelligent dashboards to interact with the data and build reports off of the data. And Power Apps is for the UI, I would say, user interface of your application. There are a couple of variations which are model driven and Canvas app models in Power Apps. So Canvas app is if you want to have a tight control on the look and feel of the site, you go with the Canvas app. But if you already have the data store in the back end and you want to expose the data or start from that data, you go with a model-driven app. So Power Apps essentially is the front end or the user interface of your application. So that's what Power Apps is. Power Automate is there to let you automate the business process, and you can automate anything from PTO requests to the contract approval to multi-stage approval workflow. So it's basically there to let you automate the business process and you focus on the business logic. And Power Virtual Agents are like a chatbots that you would see on the websites, like when you log into your credit card website, other websites like a health websites. There's that chat window like a Sydney in Anthem or like Erica in Bank of America that pops up and say, how can I help? So those are the virtual agents you can build using Power Virtual Agents. And then new kid around the block in the platform is Power Pages, using which you can build external facing, public facing sites that are secure and data driven. And the backend is still Dataverse, and you have a bunch of data connectors and whatnot.
Understood. Cool.
So as I've said, again, Microsoft Power Pages is an enterprise grade software as a solution platform using which you can build modern external facing websites. So regardless of your background, whether you're a professional developer or low code maker, Power Pages gives you the ability to rapidly design, configure, and publish the websites that would seamlessly work across all the devices. So everything that you build in Power Pages is responsive by design, so you don't have to worry about scaling or fitting the website to the width of the device and all that. So it's a software as a service platform, so you don't have to worry about the back end of things, which is, oh, I need more servers because my website is popular, or I need to, upgrade this server's capacity and all that. Everything else is taken care of by Microsoft. It runs in Microsoft Cloud. You just focus on the business logic and Power Pages in your website.
Okay,
so
all basically thrown into Azure, basically.
Pretty much, yes, yeah. And what makes it unique is being part of the Power Platform ecosystem, right? It can fully integrate with other components of Power Platform, such as Power Automate, Power Apps, Power BI, virtual agents. You can have a website and you can embed Power Apps forms onto the website. And then a form is submitted, let's say a feedback form is submitted. When the feedback is submitted, you can kick off workflow in the back end to send it to approval or to send it to somebody to take a look and get back to you. And you can place Power BI, you can embed Power BI dashboards onto Power Pages websites, and you can have Power Virtual Agents embedded as well for the virtual chats. So it's fully integrated into the platform, and you can build end-to-end powerful solutions using the platform, right? And again, it has 900 plus connectors in the backend. So Power Platform, you can leverage all the connectors in the backend, and you can surface the data from different data sources. And Microsoft preferred data sources Dataverse, but they have more than 900 data sources, 900 connectors, I should say, that are available for you to connect to different data sources and work with the data. As I've said, it's a cloud-based website building and hosting platform, and authorization, authentication, and security is some of the those are some of the built-in features that the platform has. And you have a lot of advanced out-of-the-box templates that you can leverage. And depending on the purpose of your website design, you can choose the design that's right for you and then expand from there. Or if you want to start from scratch, you can do that as well.
Do you have any examples of, like with Microsoft, they had the Ferrari SharePoint site, which was like their poster child. Is there any poster child websites out there using the Power Pages?
Yeah, yes, I do have a couple of websites. I think some of the New York divisions and county divisions was designed on Power Pages, but I'll dig those links up and send your way. I don't remember the top of my head. Right, but there are some of the few websites that are built on Power Pages, which are pretty slick. And the core capabilities of the platform are simplified authoring experience for makers. And that means if you have worked in SharePoint for a number of years, it's kind of similar to that. You can work within the browser to build the pages, to add different layouts. Its authoring experience is really, really simplified, and it's an intuitive experience that you have in the Power Pages platform. And if you are a pro developer, let's say you prefer to work with Visual Studio, you can crack open the website using Visual Studio, and you can work with the HTML and liquid tags in the backend. And depending on what background you have, whether you're a pro developer or a citizen developer, you can choose where you want to edit the website and how you want to edit the website. And as I've said, it fully integrates with other Power Platform components. And your external facing websites can have a known variety of identities, such as LinkedIn, Gmail, and may not be Facebook, but you can have users log in with their Gmail or LinkedIn profile to log into your website to see certain pieces of data if you want that to be your business case. Any questions on this?
So I do actually. So this is now becoming like basically a portal. Basically, it's like a partner portal here. Is it the partner portal capabilities, isn't it?
Close. Yes, it's pretty much you log into the portal, and depending on the role-based access, what you're authorized to see, you'll see that data. And there are some public pages that could be there as well, which everybody could see. So it's exposing the data to the right users with tight access and security controls built in.
Okay, because that's where, I mean, SharePoint was in the whole public facing part. You sort of had this idea where you would log in, people could never remember their AD emails, or you would have a customer, they could never log in, and it was just like it just didn't work particularly well. This seems like much more of a seamless approach where I can authenticate on my LinkedIn, my Gmail, my Hotmail, all that standardized things, which just makes, because at the end of the day, you're not really in the business of password management, you're in the business of content management. Okay, exactly. I think that's what makes it a lot easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, it lets you focus on the content. It lets you focus on the business logic. It lets you focus on the design versus the admin aspects of the website.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to the next one, which is, again, you can engage with external customers and partners. To your point, you can leverage Azure B2C, business to consumer, as an identity provider as well. So I built one of the websites where we leverage Azure AD B2C as an identity provider, which is a white label authentication service. Pretty much you can configure the authentication or identity provider in the authentication requirements, and then you can customize the data for each user based on their role. And as you mentioned, you can use your Microsoft account or Gmail, Facebook, Azure AD B2C. So there are a variety of options, and it's not like you can only use Microsoft account. You can have more than one option. So you can have Microsoft account along with LinkedIn or Gmail or B2C. So you can have a combination of external identity providers to securely log into your website.
Very cool.
And here is a sneak peek of the Design Studio, or this is an intro slide, which is basically Power Platform has a default environment. That's a playground for all of the employees to kind of experiment with the data and whatnot. Power Pages is not available in the default environment. So you have to make sure you're in the non-default environment before you try to create a Microsoft Power Pages website. So when you log into Maker Portal, click on the environment and make sure you choose the non-default environment, and that's when you create that's when you can create a Power Pages website.
Customer. So let me ask you this, and maybe I know, when did Power Pages come out, just for everyone's benefit?
It was live and publicly available in last September, October timeframe.
Yeah,
that's when it became publicly live.
Okay, so are there skinning element? Are there like third-party skinning elements that you could basically just plug into this, and it totally reskins the entire sites? So
pretty much in the back end or under the hood, it's all right. So you can embed the code or like code components onto your website, and you can, let's say, you can plug in a jQuery component, and that can have an API call to some other third-party system. You can integrate to you can integrate with any APIs that you can think of and embed the snippets if you want to do that in this website.
Right. Okay.
I'll show that in a moment when we do the demo. So here are some of the templates that we talked about. So again, I'll show that to you in a moment. But all the templates that are available in Power Pages are pretty slick, and they're categorized or grouped by the category here. So if you click on the scheduling tab, it gives you the templates that are most suitable for scheduling. Kind of, let's say you have an after class registration program that you run, and you want to build a website for that. People to, let's say, I take my kid to soccer practice, and let's say I want to build a website for people to sign up or see what's coming up on my schedule for the weekend game or whatever. So if it's scheduling related, you just click on scheduling tab and choose the right template and go from there. Or if it's an application submission, let's say I'm submitting something to the county and it goes through the approval process. So you click on the application submission and they'll let you choose the right template, and you can preview the templates as well, which we'll see in a demo in a moment. But there are different templates out of the box that are available, and you can either choose them, or if you don't like any of them, you can just start from scratch.
Right.
And before we dive into the demo, here is licensing aspect of Power Pages. So there's authenticated users and there's anonymous users. Like, that's how Microsoft designed these subscription plans. So authenticated, as you can imagine, it's like you have to be logged in using one of the identity providers. And for the authenticated users, it's $200 for 100 users per site per month. And for anonymous users per website, it's $75 for 500 users.
Okay, so how are you
For-
tracking the anonymous users? Because they're anonymous. So is that visits?
So no, that is not visits. That's unique devices, and that's Microsoft tracks it. Again, they're looking at the back end of things. They're looking at the IP addresses, and they're looking at the regions from which you access the website. So it's more like Microsoft has this in the back end. They track who the unique user is versus who the returning user is.
So good SEO optimization on your website could have unintended consequences.
Great question. SEO optimization is something that still needs to be fully thought of when it comes to Power Pages. And that's, again, as the platform evolves, that's something that they will look into for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Suddenly the marketing budget blows up big time on this one.
I know, for sure. And there's a volume pricing. So here is the baseline of the pricing. But if you go with the volume pricing, there are 3 different tiers for both the plans, authenticated and anonymous. So authenticated, if you buy a minimum of 100 users, and it's $200. And if you buy a 10,000 user SKU, and it's $75 for 100 users. And if you go with 100,000 users, it's $50 for 100 users, which is pretty cheap compared to other platforms and what the platform offers. So there are different tiers based on the minimum seats that you buy. And same applies to anonymous, which is cheaper compared to authenticated version of the Power Pages licensing. Tier 3 for 100,000 users. For 500 users, 500 users capacity pack. So if you buy minimum of 100,000 user licenses, it's $25 per site per month.
Okay.
So,
right.
So depending on the minimum requirement or minimum users license that you get, the price varies. The higher the minimum licenses that you get, the cheaper the price. All right.
And makes sense. Discount.
Yeah, let's dive into the demo and I'll show you what the Maker portal looks like. So if you go to Power Pages, make.powerpages.microsoft.com, you would land on.
So I've got a question. Sorry, okay.
Go
Can you limit the limit in the anonymous users at a fixed cost? Can that be done?
No, unless Microsoft introduces a new licensing plan. I don't think you can have a fixed number of users. So let's say you buy 100,000 users license. Let's say your website only has 60,000 users on a consistent basis, you would still pay for 100,000 users. So I would say start slowly, start with the minimum licenses and go or upgrade as you go, as needed.
But the problem is, I think where the question's coming from is, okay, I've just bought 100 licenses for the 100 anonymous licenses. My SEO is working, or you know what? There's a link on Twitter which has been retweeted 20 times by Jeff, and Jeff Tipper retweeted it. Suddenly this website is going to get thousands of hits. But of course, I reached my limit. What do we do here? Does the site says it's not available? It's reached its limit, or does the credit card just get swipes?
That's a fantastic question. So Microsoft tracks the traffic behind the screens, as I've said. Let's say you bought 10,000 user licenses, right? And someone retweets to your point and website becomes really popular, there's 100,000 user hits. If the spike is on an off day, or if it's on one day in, let's say, a month, or like maybe a couple of days in a couple of weeks kind of traffic, Microsoft usually let that go because they know people are kind of interested in certain things and whatnot. What they look at is the consistent traffic that's coming to your website on a daily basis. So occasional spikes are fine. They won't be charging you for more unless the traffic is consistent. And again, because it's a software solution, you don't have to worry about the website being down. Everything would be scaling as needed in the back end, depending on the traffic. So if you only bought 100,000 seats, but you got 1 million hits, let's say, the website would still function. It would still be up and running. Microsoft, because it's cloud platform, everything scales in the back end. They'll handle that for you.
Okay, and what about content? Another question's coming. What about content promotion? Like, you got your production URL, company, then you might have QA or whatever. Can we
Yeah.
publish a page to QA, it gets signed off, and then is it easy to promote into production, or do I need like a third-party tool like a ShareGate type thing?
I was saving that for my next session, Peter.
Well, there you go. I'm hyping up the next session here for you. You know, maybe
That's all right.
maybe
So-
you can speak in 3 months on this promotion stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, so great question. So content publishing is really simple in Power Pages content promotion. So you have Power Apps CLI. So here I might have a link up here for you. So Microsoft Power Platform CLI, it's a tool that you leverage for the ALM aspect, application lifecycle management. So what this tool does is it's a Visual Studio plugin that you install, and then you go through some commandlets to download the content from, let's say this is your dev site, and you download the content from the dev site and it gets downloaded as a zipped file. And then you connect to the QA or prod, let's say, and you simply connect to the target and upload the content. So it's as simple as connect to the source, download the content, connect to the target, upload the content. So that's the content piece. But let's say you have embedded Power Apps forms, or there are some solutions, or there are some tables that you're bringing along with your data, with your website, because there could be tables attached to the website and the forms and whatnot. They would still need to be packaged into solutions in Power Platform, but what you're able to promote is a pure content on the website, like images, text, the content, the layouts. That's what you will be able to promote to a different environment, whether it's a QA or prod, but you would still have to rely on solutions for any database or any tables that have been modified, or Power Apps, Power Automate workflows and whatnot.
Right.
All right.
Makes
So
sense,
here,
yeah.
when you log, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that makes sense. I think that answered that answered the other question. The questions coming in. Yeah.
Cool. So Power Pages, when you log into the Power Pages portal, make a portal, you'll see different environments here, as I've said. So if you go to Proficient default environment, you would not see the Power Pages ability to create Power Pages in that environment. So you have to make sure you're in one of the non-default environments, and then you can create a website. So let me go ahead, open a new tab, and I'll show you what it looks like when you go to the environment. I want to show you the landing page of my environment. So on the home page, you'll see all the sites that you've worked so far. So far, I only have one website, so it would show up under my sites. So if you want to create a site from scratch, so this is my existing site, as I've said. And if you want to create a new site, just click on the create site and choose the template. And this is the categorization of the templates that I was talking about earlier. So if you go to starter layouts, these are some of the starter layouts, and you can preview the templates to see how it looks. And you can obviously click on learn more to learn more what the template offers. And one of the other cool things is you click on the mobile, it gives you the mobile view of how the site would look like. So you can make an informed decision based on the screenshots and choose the right template. So once you choose the right template, so again, if you go to scheduling tab, there's a template, application submission, registration. Microsoft is constantly adding new templates to this space. So this space would evolve further and further as we go. So let's say I'm liking, let's say this template, and you choose this template. And you have to give it a name and a website address. And let's say I want to give it a test website address. And this have to be unique because this website is public facing. The web address has to be unique. And you keep an eye on this domain, Power Apps Portals. That's where it came from. So once you build a website, you will obviously be able to change the base address of your web along with the domain name. But to start with, you have to choose a unique base URL that's available. So let's say test1265 something, and hopefully that's available. And it is available. You see a little tick here, and then you choose the template, and just for now, English is the only supported language, like for the basic website creation, and then you hit done. So that's how you create the site. keep in mind, it takes about 40 minutes to an hour, or sometimes more than that, for this site to be created. So because Microsoft is working hard in the back end to put everything together to make the website beautiful and to make the website functional. So don't be in a rush to create the site. It takes 40 minutes to 1 hour to get the basic building blocks in place for you. So that's how you create the website from scratch. Any questions here?
And that makes sense. It's almost like, yeah, it's cooking, you know.
Yeah. All right. So here, once it creates the website, again on the home page, you'll see your website created. So here in the My Site section, you would see the site that's created. And we'll dive into the admin sections of this portals, but I want to show you a couple of other things. So if we go to templates, we have seen this. Learn is one of the, this is my favorite part of Power Pages. You don't have to go dig through Bing or Google to search for all the tutorials that are available on Power Pages. Everything is there in the Learn tab. Everything is categorized. How do you design and build? How do you connect to Dataverse? And how do you customize and extend? How do you set up security? And how do you administer the website? Everything is right here in one single location for you, which is really cool. I really love this feature that Microsoft introduced in Power Platform. So everything is there for you.
Stream, is it? Is that integrated in the Stream?
This probably is Microsoft Stream. I don't know where these are hosted, but I'm guessing it's Microsoft Stream because it's a cloud-based platform.
Cool.
So you can refer to different videos and different articles and whatnot right from here, and you can learn more about Power Pages. So let's dive right in. And once you hit it, I should have how you edit the website, which is pretty much intuitive. So you go to home page and it'll show you the site that you're working on. And there's an icon here, which is edit. So you click on edit. It brings you to this design studio, Power Pages. And I'll go through some of the navigational elements. And here is a design studio. I just added a text block saying affiliate.
Okay, I'm looking at this. This looks very similar to the modern SharePoint design now, doesn't it, Paige?
Pretty much, yeah. As I've said, everything is within the browser. So you see edit code here. If you're a pro developer, you can click on this and it'll open the website in Visual Studio Code, and then you can modify the content if you want to do that. But everything is within the browser, as you said, similar to SharePoint, and you hover over here, you add a section, and see how it's pretty similar to SharePoint. It gives you different layouts to choose from, or I should say 2-column, 3-column layouts, or 1/3 right. And if you go here, so it's the same thing here, but pretty much you can choose different layouts. Let's say I choose a 3-column layout, and you can add a component. So in SharePoint, you add web parts. And here you add different components. So these are some of the components that are available for you standard out of the box. You can add images, videos, some of the iframe components. And if you want to add and connect to the data, you can add the forms, and you can add a SharePoint list and Power BI reports. These are different components that you can embed or have on the website itself. So that's how you edit the page, and you can add different sections and different components. And I'm gonna go ahead, just for giggles, just add a button, say Power Pages, and I can link it to, you can link it to anything. I'll just put bing.com for now. Wants me to put that link, the HTTPS, but here, and then I can add, let's say, text, really rocks. And I'll make a copy and paste. Again, I'm oversimplifying the content creation here, but you get the idea. And you can add let's say, an image. Let's pick the cute cat. So here. And as you can see, everything is saved as you edit the website. So that's why we recommend maintaining different environments. So whatever you change on the website is live. And that's why you don't want to build a website in production, because everything that you're changing is live.
So can you do previews? Can you do a preview on this page though?
You absolutely can. So here is a preview to the top right. And here is a beauty. You can scan with mobile and it'll show you on how it looks like on mobile. But you click on desktop, that should give you a preview of how your website is going to look, which is this. So that's how you preview, and that's how you create the content. And again, there's a lot of freedom that you have when it comes to the website design, and there are different components. You can make it as beautiful as you want it to. So here's the navigational elements of the pages. So here's the home page, and you see different pages on the left-hand side, and you can create a page, or you can move the page up and down from here. And you can go to the page settings if you want to control the permissions on the page and whatnot. And if you go to styling, here is the out-of-the-box color palette or themes that are available for you. So you can change the theming of your website using the styling that's available, pretty much just like SharePoint theming again, right? Okay. So you can choose the background color, you can choose the font sizing and style and whatnot, how you want to display the buttons. So everything is. Go ahead.
A question came in. Okay, another question. So can you restrict the design to certain teams? So sales edits the sales page and marketing edits the marketing page. You can control the page permissions. Again, everything is role-based access. So let's say you have a sales page and you only give sales folks or certain designer permissions to those folks to that site. So everything is role-based. You can control the permissions and who can do what on your website. Okay, that works. Okay, I think I answered the question. Yep. And then go to the data tab here. So this is where you can connect the data. So there's a simple feedback form, but there are other tables that you can connect. And this is kind of misleading. People think when you click sync, they're thinking you're making the, let's go back to the home page. People might think whatever you're editing pages, sorry, give me a minute. Let's say home page, right? So when you're updating the text on the website, people think when you sync, they might think that you're syncing the changes, but it's not that. You're not syncing the changes. The changes are live. What this sync is, let's say you added a table in the backend to the Dataverse, and you want that table to be displayed here so that you can embed that table on your website. That's when you hit sync. So it is to bring the new tables or to bring the updated information on the table schema so that you can choose the right table to embed onto your website. So sync is to get the new tables into that you can use to embed them onto the website, not necessarily to sync the changes that you're making on the website. So okay, that's the sync button. Go ahead. There's questions coming in, and the sync stuff of the publication is immediate. Is that correct? That is correct. Yeah. Okay. So if there's a typo on there, it can be immediately replaced. Yes. So that's why we recommend you have different environments: dev, test, production, and you make the changes in dev and make everything like test it out, and then promote the content and solutions to test. And then the prod. That's the data section. And if you go to setup, this is where you can set up different identity providers. And I'll show you what out of the box, some of the authentication providers that are out of the box. You see Azure AD B2C, LinkedIn, Gmail. You just have to go through the configuration to set these identity providers up. And then you can control different table permissions and whatnot. So here, feedback, and there are different roles here. Administrator, anonymous users can also submit feedback. So you can control different permissions. And I want to go to the admin section of the site and show you a couple of things there. I go to pages. I think it's stuck. Can you hear me still, Peter? I can, yep. I think the website is stuck. Let me refresh this. It's a live demo, guys. It is. It is. So here you go to portal management. So keep an eye on the URL. You see crmdynamics.com. So the back end of things they are still in CRM Dynamics. And everything that you see on Power Pages, the page templates and site settings
and the basic forms and lists and the web files. You can have your custom CSS files upload. You can have JavaScript files uploaded. You'll see them in the web file section. So everything in the back end is still part of the Dynamics. And as I've said, Microsoft had it called CRM Dynamics Portals, and then they changed it to Power Apps Portals, and now it's called Power Pages. It's the new mask that they put on the technology, but in the back end, it's pretty much the same. The back end still lives in CRM Dynamics.
Okay,
And
you mean basically it's old wine in a new bottle?
Pretty much, with a little bit of a new flavor as well. So you get some new bells and whistles, but
well, also the other thing as well. The moment you mentioned Dynamics, you think of Dynamics CRM, GP, AX. By doing this, it broadens the technology across all of the Microsoft stack.
Absolutely, yes. That's what makes it unique. You know, it spans across M365 platform, and there's that integration aspect that's really key here. So here is the back end of things. Again, if you want to create a page here, you can do that too, and you can control different settings and the roles and whatnot. If you, let's say, use Azure AD B2C, all the authentication or the contacts or the people coming into your website would be saved as your contacts right here. So it's pretty much your Dynamics contact, and you can kick off other processes or leverage this information to run other processes in the back end. So one other thing I want to show you here is administration section. Let me go back to the home page.
We've got a few minutes left.
I'm almost done, but why don't I say that later? But pretty much this is the back end, and there's the admin section using which you can upload your custom, let's say, custom domains here. If I go to Admin Center, you can restart the portal, you can change the base URL, and you can have custom SSL uploaded, custom domain names, and all that stuff. You can configure like IP restrictions on your pages, and all that kind of admin related things are there in Admin Center of the website.
Right. Okay. Very cool. This is it's almost like we need a part 2 of this session, actually. I feel like, actually, but maybe we should do that in a few months. This is a very cool, good stuff. Where I forwarded your blog post into the chat. People want to get started with Power Pages. Where's the best place to start?
Go to Microsoft Power Pages. Microsoft has great documentation on Power Pages. So just go to Bing or Google, just type Microsoft Power Pages and go through the articles or the documentation that Microsoft has. That would be a great start. And as I've said, once you log into the Makeup portal, here is go to the Learn tab to learn everything that you want.
Okay, I'm putting that in the chat as we speak.
Sure.
To everyone right now. Okay, that's in the chat.
Learning Hub is really cool. Yeah.
In the researches, documentation, blog, yes, quick, secure, local websites. Very cool. All right. And that, actually, I'm on the page right now, and it's actually got a lot of good stuff, getting started, tutorials, building stuff and everything. All right. Thank you for your time, Omar. That's an absolute pleasure. This recording will be on SoundCloud and Spotify in the next couple of days.
Okay.
On that.
Thanks for having me, Peter.
Pleasure.
Hope everyone enjoyed this session, and we'll connect soon.
All right. Okay.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Yep.
Bye.